The house had already surrendered to nightfall when the story truly began. Outside, the village lay wrapped in silence, blue shadows stretching across sleeping rooftops, the cool wind whispering through bamboo leaves. Yet inside the small wooden home, a soft golden glow from a single bulb kept the darkness at the door. Little Nhi had fallen asleep first, curled peacefully beneath her thin blanket, her tiny breaths rising and falling in perfect rhythm. She looked like a secret the night was guarding. Only James and Diep remained awake. They shared the kind of quiet reserved for people bound not just by affection, but by the invisible threads of shared struggle and quiet loyalty. Their world had shrunk into this cozy room, where warmth pooled in the corners and shadows softened into comfort. Diep leaned back against the wooden headboard, her voice bubbling with excitement as she recounted her day's simple triumphs. Mung beans, she laughed, her eyes sparkling. Everyone loved them. They asked me to pick more next week, as much as I can. They said they'll buy it all. Her joy spread through the room like fragrance, light and effortless. James watched her with that attentive calm she had come to rely on. His expression soft, his eyes warm. "That's good," he murmured. But beneath his gentle tone, a firmness lingered, the kind that comes from a decision long made. Then he said it, almost casually, "I quit working for my dad. I only help him privately now, when needed." "Our focus, the real focus, is the company. Our company." A line drawn. A chapter closed. A new one trembling on the edge of beginning. Diep turned to him, emotion stirring deep in her chest. She didn't question him. She didn't doubt him. She simply reached for his hand, and he met her halfway, their fingers interlocking like a vow spoken without sound. James squeezed her hand lightly, a gesture small in movement but enormous in meaning. Then, softly, as though sharing a secret with the night itself, he leaned closer. "Tomorrow," he said, lowering his voice, "I'll take you somewhere, somewhere special." "I've waited so long to bring you there." Diep laughed softly, curiosity flickering like candlelight. "Where? Are we going on a trip?" He shook his head. "More special than that. A breath." Then a confession. "But I'm scared you might not like it." With that single sentence, something shifted. Their quiet night thickened with a tender anticipation, like the hush before dawn or the stillness before the first note of a song. The moment felt like a river at midnight, calm on the surface, yet full of hidden currents. James hesitated before speaking again. "My mother, she likes you," he said, a small smile touching his lips. But when the conversation drifted near his father, he looked away. His face changed, only slightly, but Diep noticed. She had learned to read the shadows in him. She didn't ask, she didn't push, instead, she squeezed his hand, offering silent reassurance, the kind that didn't demand answers, only presence. The kettle in the corner began to boil, its quiet rumble a reminder that life moved even when their hearts paused. Outside, wind brushed gently against the windows, rustling the leaves, a lullaby for a world half asleep. It felt as if the universe had folded inward just for them. Finally James stood, brushing his fingertips along her cheek. "Go shower," he whispered. "We need to wake early for Nee's school." Diep nodded, though her heart fluttered with curiosity, anticipation, and something else, something warmer, deeper. She didn't ask what tomorrow meant. Some magic is too delicate to touch with questions. When James switched off the light, the room fell into darkness, but it was a warm darkness, the kind that feels like soil where hope can take root. And it did. Dawn rolled over the village like a blessing. A soft light stretched across rooftops, glimmering on dewy leaves, warming the earth awake. After a simple breakfast, James knelt beside little Nhi to fix her Doraemon backpack. "You're so good," he told her. "Your teacher says you learn so fast." Nhi puffed her cheeks proudly, waved, and scampered through the school gate. The moment she disappeared inside, James's posture changed. His back straightened. His eyes sharpened. Today was the day. The day he had planned in secret, quietly, meticulously, for weeks. He turned the bike around, and Diep climbed on behind him, unaware that her life was about to tilt, soften, and ignite all at once. At exactly 8 a.m., James stopped the bike in front of a building that shimmered in the morning sun. A luxury wedding dress boutique. Not just a shop. A world of chandeliers, white gowns, soft perfumes, and polished floors. Diep blinked up at the storefront, breath stalling. "This," she whispered. "James, why?" Before she could finish, a cheerful staff member pushed open the door. "Welcome. You two are here for the fitting, right? Please come in." "We'll start with makeup for the bride." Bride. The word hit Diep like a wave. She turned to James, eyes wide and searching. "Why didn't you tell me?" James only smiled, that mysterious, disarming smile that melted her from the inside out. "It's a secret," he said simply, and with that, the day began. The boutique felt unreal. Chandeliers glowed like captured starlight. The scent of fresh peonies drifted through the air. Mirrors multiplied the light until the whole room shimmered. Diep sat in the stylist's chair, staring at her reflection with a heartbeat so loud she wondered if the entire shop could hear it. "So this," she whispered, "is the place you wanted to bring me?" James sat beside her, half hidden by the stylist's cape, slipping his hand into hers discreetly. "Just trying today," he said gently. Hair dryers hummed. Makeup brushes swept across her cheeks. Stylists chatted softly around them. It felt like the overture to a wedding she never dared to imagine. James watched her through the mirror, his expression unguarded, full of awe and quiet devotion. And suddenly, for the first time in her life, she felt like a bride. "I can't wait," he whispered. James leaned in, his breath warm against her ear. "I can't wait," 3 simple words. But they cracked something open inside her, something tender and trembling. Whatever stress she carried, whatever worry the company had placed on her shoulders, it all dissolved. Sunlight spilled through the boutique's large front window, bathing her reflection in a halo of gold. It felt like approval from heaven. James squeezed her hand again. Not reassuringly, lovingly. Not out of fear, out of overflow. Today wasn't just a fitting. Today was a glimpse into a future he was quietly building for her, for them. A rehearsal of happiness, and the day had barely begun.